Hi, I'm Walter Sotelo, the Executive Director of the New York City Love Kitchen. Thank you for joining us again in this wonderful day. We have a special guest dear to my heart, Linda Wolff, who has been an incredible volunteer and advocate, a voice for those that have no voice here in New York City. We are just so excited to have you here, Linda. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad that you had the time to be able to come up to Uptown since you were in the Upper West Side. We're in Washington Heights, Inwood, and you're here with us because you have now journeyed with us in the Love Kitchen in volunteering and leading some of the great efforts to find clothing and shoes and other resources for the asylum seekers and migrants that have been coming for now almost 3 years. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us about yourself and your work, your boutique, your style, where you come from, how did you live? You're a long-time New Yorker, so I always love the story of the New Yorkers in this particular podcast.
I am a New Yorker. I have born and raised. I'm fifth generation Manhattan,
Wow,
which is kind
that
of
is a
fun.
that's a very unique niche to be able to say that in New York.
Can't say it was all good. I I'll tell you a little bit about my history,
Yes,
if you want that.
yes, of course.
I was born into an alcoholic, abusive family. My father was an alcoholic. I come from a long line of alcoholism and violence. Um, I wasn't really raised by my parents. I was just a survivor in the house and was abused physically, mentally. And then I continued on. I was a drug addict. I was an anorexic. I was not a good student. I was a thief. I did
Oh
anything not
wow.
to feel my feelings. So I moved into the city. I was always very talented with clothing. I
Uh-huh.
opened up a cloth. I've worked in retail since I'm 23, and then eventually I got my own. I opened my own retail store for 38 years, which I just closed, um, and she was my mother, and she taught
Wow.
me soulful living. I lived in the projects in DC with her because she wouldn't leave me at my house. And those are the only memories that I have of
A good
of
a
having an
good
incredible
experience.
experience, and like with a home, in a home where she bathed me, she loved me, she
Wow.
talked to me. So that's where my idea of service started as a little kid.
Yeah.
I've worked in orphanages in Westchester. I've always been this way. And working with you when we met 4 years ago, or maybe five
It
years
might have been,
ago.
yeah, I think it might have been 4 years ago. Just it was during the pandemic time,
Right.
or the
Just
first
after.
just after a year or so that we were introduced to one another.
Yeah, and we were introduced by Deborah and David Roberts, who supply the food for the families and students of IS
528.
528 on West 184th Street, and they are asylum seekers' children.
Yeah.
And they don't have papers. But there's a school that is loving, kind, supportive, and helping these kids. And my friends and your friends
Yeah.
supply the food every week, every week.
Every week, yeah. And we've had the principal, Mr. Pichardo. Was here in one of our podcasts, and if you want to see that, you could search it on our YouTube or social media. As we met, Linda, you're telling us about this difficult life you've lived, and obviously there has been a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, and you go back to it as in the suffering you're seeing some seeds of compassion and service that were born out of that also because of this one woman that helped you and was loving to you. Tell me a little bit more about how does that maybe compare or comes alongside the situation that we're facing in the United States, in particular in our city, New York City, with the asylum seekers and those that are looking for refuge, as well as those that have migrated into our country, into our city.
My upbringing has actually been a gift for me. I've done a lot of therapy, 12-step work for 20 years. I know what it's like to not be seen, not be heard, not to be listened to, judged. So I have a different story, but the feelings are the same. And my service, I've worked for 25 years in domestic violence with the shelter system. And here, these people are human beings. They have a heart. They are no different than us. None, except they lived in a different country where they were in. The particular people that I've been working with you, with the New York Love Kitchen, are from Afghanistan.
Yes, correct.
And they walked here.
Yes.
And it's, their children walked here. They come here, they don't have shoes, they don't have underwear, they don't have food, they don't have a toothbrush. They are pregnant.
Correct.
They weren't they were allowed to go to school and have a life as women, and then once the whole thing blew up, and the Taliban took over, the children and the women were back into the house. They weren't allowed to go to school. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything but stay in the house. And
it's very unjust. It's unjust and unbalanced. And when they arrived to, one of the things that's interesting is as you describe how you were faced with not being able to be seen, be judged, be not heard, not have a voice because of how you were raised. The families of those that are coming as asylum seekers, as they walked, as you mentioned, hundreds and thousands of miles, and they've flown and they've gone through jungles, they've paid their dues to people, they've been taken advantage of. They come into the country and the first thing they hear is, we don't want you here, a lot of the times. Now, not everybody does that. So I want to just say thank you to those that have received the people. They have said thank you, that basically you're welcome to New York. Even that is such a wonderful thing to tell somebody, as well as even finding what the needs are for them. And if there is a possibility of helping, how do we help? So tell me a little bit about how you found in your heart what to do when you were brought about with this huge need that maybe we were able to present to you. And you said, I'm in, I want to help. How did you manage? Because that's a huge weight. What was the first thing you thought? You related it to your own profession, your ability of networking. How and what? How did you volunteer with us?
Well, after I asked I read, or you told me that what you were doing, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And I posted on I had my store, so I would post on Instagram or something in the window or tell everyone. And my clients were so generous.
They were
very brought,
generous.
I mean, my people would walk by the store and either think I was going out of business or I was a thrift store, but it didn't look pretty, but it didn't matter to me. I believe that I am truly a child of God and that I am here to serve.
Oh, wow.
And
great.
That's really who I am. I mean, all the other things are just, I'm good at it, but it's not my soul. And to be able to have the opportunity to work with these people, the women, men, the children, I mean, these kids, everyone is just so grateful.
Tell me a little bit about the most recent interaction you had with one of the families. Tell me a little bit of that.
Today?
Yeah, today. Even as we were doing a distribution of many resources that we've been able to receive from people like yourself, your friends of network and others, refrigerators, toasters, as the asylum seekers are getting their paperwork organized, they're getting their permits, they're moving on to their own apartments. This is to be told to New Yorkers. It's not that they're staying in shelters and in hotels because they want to. They want to advance, they want to work. And when they are able to get the paper and their legal documents, they are ready to move into place where they're contributors. They'll pay taxes. They'll do everything that we all do. So tell me about that story.
Yeah, these people are not people that just want a handout. I mean, the amount of supplies that you have had donated, nobody is greedy. Nobody, there's, you can take tons of stuff. No, I just want,
What they need.
what they need. It's like, it's what they need. It's not what they want.
They're not consumers.
No.
This is what we're noticing. They're not consumers.
Exactly. No. It's one is enough.
It's one is
Like
enough.
you can have 4 diapers for your new. No, that's all. It's good.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing,
beautiful thing
and
to
it's a lesson for all of us to.
Simplify our life maybe a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like I have everything I need. And I used to be like a consumer to fill like a God-shaped hole. It didn't mean anything to me. It was just like, I was so miserable that I would buy stuff and I didn't even like it, but it would make me feel better in the moment.
Yeah.
These people aren't that.
They're not
These
that.
people are just so grateful to
Yeah.
be, and a lot of them today. I met a family that are living in a shelter. There can be 5 people living in a tiny little room,
In one room.
and
With no armoire, no closet. They
No,
have
nothing.
they have to put their things on the floor, and they have like luggages.
Yes.
And imagine just moving around.
yeah,
And if somebody's sick, how does everybody else stay healthy in that one room?
yeah, and they live out of, we had suitcases today that it's not like they're packing to move somewhere. It's to be able to organize the room in which all the family is staying in. So I spoke with this girl today who walked here with her mother. She's probably 13, maybe 12, and she learned English here at school, and no one's looking for a handout. Everyone's looking to just be able to work, to live, to fit in, to be accepted. These are not criminals.
Correct.
These are not people that are looking for a handout or a free ride. These are not that. Maybe there's, 1 in a million that is just like, but what you read, what you hear, it's fake.
It's fake.
It's all fake
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
It's all like, maybe, yes, the system, obviously you can't let all these, asylum seekers in at one time. It has
Correct.
to be, somehow
Organized.
organized
they
in
have
a
some
sort of a
methods.
system.
Yeah.
But there isn't one right now, so this is how it's going.
Yeah, it is a complex situation that we're facing. But I think that what you're focusing on, it's something that encourages the public. And if you're watching right now, you should be motivated to even participate. You began by just saying, I'm in, and let me help with what I know, which is the clothing, the boutique. I mean, you're high fashion, buying clothes for very, very well-to-do people in New York. And on the other side, you're giving some of those clothes and donations to families that are coming in for the first time, and they're so grateful. And by the way, the clothes that we receive is in great condition, new, some of it is very lightly used, but no stain, no dirt, and they are so grateful to receive it. Tell me a little bit about what's the most interesting or exciting part of even having met us as New York City Love Kitchen and working with us in this length of time. I mean, there's been conversations where you and I have had on the side, and then there's been situations where you've said, hey, come pick up because my store is so full, and we would go in. So tell me a little bit about that. What do you think about the New York City Love Kitchen, basically?
I can't say enough about this. You guys have taught me the amount of hours, the kindness, the non-judging, the hard-working staff that you
Yes,
have.
yes.
I mean, it's not like a 9-to-5 job.
Correct.
I met a man that now he's in Ossining with his family.
Yes.
He has a very ill son.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a car, and he doesn't have transportation to take his child to Columbia Hospital for treatment.
Yes.
So I offered to pick him
wow.
up in Ossining
Thank you.
if I wasn't working, and drive him to Columbia, drive them home. I mean, we're human beings. We're
Yeah.
on the earth to serve, and I learned that more and more from your
Oh, thank you.
organization.
Thank you.
You and
Shaheen also,
Shaheen.
yeah.
I've never seen
Yeah.
two people more dedicated to serving the community and
Thank you so
serving
much
people
for that.
who wouldn't survive without you.
Yeah. Well, we're very grateful to be at a calling. So it's not, like you said, it's not a job in the sense that we feel like our salary is what's keeping us here or our condition of our space, because it's very tiny. But we're looking to be able to love people. And that's why our logo has that love kitchen. It's not that we're serving food. We're serving love. We're showing people love, but it is through a tangible object. So it may be a meal, or it may be a pair of pants, it may be a refrigerator, it may be just even saying welcome to somebody, a referral. And at this moment, we're serving about 45 Afghani refugees, asylum seekers in this city for the past 6 months. We have one more month to be able to do that in June, and we're going to take a break. One of the reasons is it costs quite a bit to be able to do the work that we do. And as we've said, we want to be able to help them. And you probably have seen that we literally take what they need, not what they want. Remember, there's a big difference. What they need, and we start looking for people to be able to actually donate or find those things for us. So the list goes out there. We'll have it posted on our website, so that anybody who wants to donate or wants to be able to contribute, that'd be fantastic. How do you foresee your involvement, Linda, in the lives of some of these people that you have met? Because to an extent, they're first of all, they're people we meet. Then they become New Yorkers. And if they stay in New York, now all of a sudden you have a bond because we've helped them in a very needy time. I particularly, for my own, I'm teaching English to a student, a Persian student. So I'm learning that. That's just my own personal desire to do. What are the things that maybe you're thinking about as a future of how you get involved? Like, offering to pick up somebody is fantastic.
Yeah, also I'm interested in, as we all grow together and learn more about each other, to, take one of these girls in with me and train her and teach her about fashion if that's what she's interested in.
That would be fantastic.
And I shared my Instagram today with a family, and they were just like, wow, my God, it's so beautiful. And I'm like, and we exchanged numbers so that we
Yes.
could be in touch. And there's something about her daughter that just, she touched my heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. The next frontier, I think, that I've been thinking about and kind of considering is that if the Love Kitchen was able to begin some type of work offering where their skills is very, very specific, very, very specialized. So boutique, so maybe even like shopping for thrift shops and curating some of the clothing and then posting it on the internet. We didn't have to have a brick and mortar store so that you conserve the cost, because obviously in New York City the rent is extremely expensive for a space. But even just what you mentioned, that's a skill that a woman, a man can learn, and they're gonna be rolling. I mean, there's so many youth right now doing this on the internet, and they just use an ad or a
Right.
website, an app, and they're making some living from it, and that's a easy way of training some of the youth. We'll have this summer, we'll have 10 students that are going to work with us from the beginning of July 6th to August 17th in a summer youth employment. They'll learn about nutrition, and they're going to be working with us. But that would be something that if you'd like to come in, we have two of the guys that are from Afghanistan. They're going to work with us. English, obviously is a challenge, but they learn quickly. And that's what you found with some of the people you've met, right?
yeah, they learn really quickly. These are not, I don't know what people think, because I don't know what people think, but from what I hear, these people are lawyers, doctors, engineers, nurses,
Dentist.
dentists.
They
The
work
list
in
goes
politics,
on.
yeah.
I met a man today who was in the service, worked with our soldiers.
Yes.
He was one of the ones that was allowed to leave with when the whole thing went down, and he's here without his family,
Yeah.
and it was
It's
real.
it's a tough one.
It's a really tough
Yeah,
one.
it's a
This
tough
is,
one.
you know, bittersweet for him.
Yeah, I know. We're at a transition of the narrative in asylum seekers because of the election year. And we're not going to get into politics, but there is some consideration for those of you that are watching that no matter what the politics atmosphere is like, whether it's stormy or it's calm, there is always the opportunity to be able to do something together. And you don't have to wait for somebody to spur you into action. If you're listening to this podcast and you're listening to what Linda is telling us, I hope that you feel the pull of participating, of serving, because love is a verb. It's an action. It's not, I love you, and you have a glass of water and somebody doesn't have it and they're thirsty. You didn't show love because you had the water. So I just want to encourage you. If you have something that is maybe something that you have filled the void, instead of trying to fill the void, give it to somebody that doesn't have it and needs it, and participate. What would be some of the encouragement you could share with our audience or even our people that are maybe coming on for the first time, wherever they may find themselves, whether it's in New York City, whether it is in Boston, whether it is in Florida, where it is in Mississippi, Louisiana? What would you share with them, Linda, to motivate them to step into that middle place of being a human being that loves others?
Such a good question. I came from a place that because I wasn't raised and I wasn't taught anything, I had to learn on my own. And I now, because of all the work I've done on myself, I come every morning in my prayers and my meditation. I always say that I come to this day with love, compassion, kindness, empathy, trust, and service. First for myself,
Yeah.
because if I don't focus on myself and keep myself in check, then I can't serve others.
True.
So and so then I come from that place of, and everywhere I go in my life, that's how I act. If there's I sit on the sidewalk with homeless people. It could be me. I could be homeless tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, I have no idea what that feels like, but I know that it's just a human being.
Yeah.
It's struggling. It wasn't his choice or her choice to be
Correct.
homeless.
Correct.
I sit on the sidewalk. I ask if they're hungry. I bring them into the stores and pick out what it's like, we're all the same.
Yeah.
We all are the same, and no judging. I have no judgment of anyone, and I feel that it's such a gift to be giving.
Yes.
It really is.
It is a gift.
It gives me love. I can love myself. I have more self-esteem. I have more self-care to know that I'm helping other humans. I can't fix the world, but I can. We can make a difference.
That's right. So you've listened to this incredible encouragement. Linda, thank you for sharing that beautiful, practical word of hope. That's basically every day you see the opportunity to love, to have compassion, to be able to be respectful, non-judging, and love this world and the people in it in a manner that is great. I also know that as you shared about your background, if you have watching this and you're going through difficulty with alcohol, you're in a situation of abuse, please reach out to someone, whether it is your community of faith, whether it is your community of friends. Don't hide. You're not alone. I want to tell you that. You're not alone. You could find help. If you're a migrant and you're an asylum seeker, there are organizations that are helping. And there are people, as you can see, that are loving and are caring for you. There is also people that are angry. That doesn't mean that they don't love you. It's just they're angry and they can't get over the monster that they see. You're not the monster. People are not the monster.
No.
So
It's all fear-based.
yes,
Because they don't know what to do.
they don't know what to do.
It's fear. It's, not in my neighborhood. Like, why not in your neighborhood? Nothing bad is going to happen. And it's just, It's fear.
It is fear. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience or with us at this moment? What can we do to improve the work we do? If you were to say something to the audience about supporting some of the work that you're doing, the things that we're doing, what would you tell them?
Donate, donate, donate. Donate, donate, no, donate.
Oh, you're this is not planned. So just, you know, she's sharing
No.
from her heart.
Really, if it, no one's ever said, can you donate money? I mean, ever.
Yeah.
It's, can you donate, diapers, baby clothes, gently. Like today, there's so many of these women are pregnant and they're us.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of baby clothes that were here. And they were like, no, it's my new baby. I can't take these clothes because they wanted something that was new. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So would I.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I get it. So if you can find it in your heart to clean your closets, right now we're only taking spring and summer.
Yes.
We'll start again in the fall to get winter clothes, but gently used because we go through all of them for stains and holes, because would you want to wear stains and holes? So find it in your heart.
Yes.
Feels really good.
Linda, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here with us. I really appreciate your time and, more importantly, your heart and life. You've shown me the value of an overcomer, not a survivor, but an overcomer.
Yeah.
You're an overcomer, and that is triumphant. And the conquering that you had in your life is being witnessed by the people that you have volunteered your love and your compassion to serve. Many of them will remember you, and one day that will return back to you 10, 100-fold. May that be so. If you're here and you've listened to the podcast, I just want to say thank you. Linda, thank you for
Thank
being
you
with
for
us
having
again.
me.
You could watch any more of these podcasts and our social media at YouTube or in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And if you want to find out how to be able to participate and contribute to the work that we're doing in the New York City Love Kitchen, you go to our website at nyclovekitchen.com. It has been a joy to be able to communicate this gathering or this conversation of hope, and I hope your heart is encouraged and you get involved in the places that you are helping those that are in great need. Have a great day.
And you're not alone.
You're not alone.